Honourable and esteemed MPs of the House of Commons and the people of the United Kingdom, I come before you because I have a public petition to the House of Commons accepted by a leader of House of Commons. That was Right Honourable Margaret Beckett, who accepted the public petition to the House of Commons on 25th February 1999. The case started of my children's custody and divorce in the courts in 1994, and it was dragged till 1996. She accepted the public petition to the House of Commons. It was 25th February 1999. Anyways, the main thing is that my husband is the beneficiary on the deaths of my sons and myself. The divorce has never taken place for the last 25 years. He's been remarried to the other woman for 24 years. The judges created a bogus court order without the emblem of the court, without the name of a judge, and declared that you do not, better not, rather threatened us that stop campaigning to parliamentarians on this case because we are Freemasons, we are everywhere, we are very powerful, and we can do anything. And lots of threats were sent to us that one of you will be murdered, no one will be able to do anything about it. After which a lot happened. And so I didn't even know that Freemasonry existed, but I had to do a lot of hard work on this. And I have 3 degrees. I have a master's in philosophy, a bachelor of law, a bachelor of mass communication media. I grew up in a university professor's home at Punjab University, Chandigarh, which is the youngest city of India, planned by a French architect. And I was one of the most famous girls of my times. I was a leader in the Department of Laws, where there was 1,000 boys and 100 girls. At the time, it was a very long time ago. And I came to this country in 1984. It's been 35 years now. And both my sons have been born here. I came 1 week after my marriage to the doctor, adulterous husband whose affairs were brought into the open in front of me in Vidyansh Hospital. There's a lot to say in this address to yourselves, to the MPs, as well as to the honourable people of the United Kingdom and the honourable MPs, of course. So a lot has happened since then, and so I had to learn all about what Freemasonry is the hard way round. But my father, who is the very first professor of Punjabi literature in the whole world with 49 PhD doctorates under him, successful PhD doctorates under him, and an authority on Sikhism, who has written encyclopedias and dictionaries in English that have been in world libraries for the last about 50 years now. And his name is Professor Dr. Surinder Singh Kohli, which you can always search on the web to find out on his works, on his exceptional and, should I say, famous and unique works, etc. So, but my father was brutally murdered, and that was after the threats we were given. And it was all counteraction, which is Freemasonry, is counteraction, it is countermand. It, like the judges made the bogus court order, I have been discovering a lot about it, what it's all about, and it is negative veto, it is to swear black is white and white is black, it is tergiversation, it is changing of the allegiance from law to crime, and it is sectarianism, and it is sedition, which is anarchy, which is mafia, which is organized crime, and so on and so forth, of course, and abrogation and snatch the scripture, seize the crown, so on and so forth. But it is an establishment-based mafia, which I had to buy the 2 books that were accepted by the House of Commons, Parliament's 1995 inquiry into the misuse and abuse of Freemasonry into judiciary and the police in particular, along with the other public servants in the establishment-based mafia that join the criminal corruption in the network of political system which is enlisted in the book of Martin Short Inside the Brotherhood on page 15. And in the author's note is the Parliament's inquiry, because Martin Short is a Channel 4 broadcaster who was invited to the House of Commons to give his evidence. And after he was grilled for many hours with 144 questions that after his evidence was taken into consideration, Right Honorable Chris Mullen, the chair of the House of Commons Home Select Committee into the Misuse and Abuse of Freemasonry into Judiciary and the Police, he concluded nothing undermines public confidence more than the knowledge that some public servants are members of the secret society whose sole aim is mutual self-advancement and wrongful column of mutual support for self-greed of career advancement or materialistic gain of cash or kind. Now, I have a few notes to remind me, because it's a very vast subject and there are many important things to bring to your kind notice. But of course, before I go forward, I have to tell you that I have two sons that were given illegally by the legal system to my husband, because in Freemasonry there is nothing called merit or justice. It's all about due subordination, and which is no good. Which is again on page 186 of Martin Short Inside the Brotherhood, which is available at Waterstones or through Amazon. You can have a copy of it. And on page 185, it also says that the judges are top Masons and they treat the common man of Britain as expendable nuisance. And that Freemasonry's other name is insider trading, which is defined in the International Rogers Thesaurus in 356 entry, that it is illicit business, it is entrapment, and it is death trap. And my husband, who is the beneficiary on the deaths of both my sons and myself, after my death, he becomes the beneficiary on the deaths of my sons. Now he has had my sons for over 25 long years. I had to campaign to Manchester University students when my sons grew up and came to the university after my father's death. And for 10 years, I was with the university students who nominated me to become their MP. But Freemasonry is white supremacy, it is hatred, it is bigotry, race hate, hate crime. And the police did the anti-propaganda, which is what Freemasons do. They do a smear campaign of opposition to the law to defeat their victim by amalgamating and combining the victim's friends, relatives, as well as the neighbors, as well as countrymen, townsmen, which is all in the Rogers Thesaurus in 880, and that it is sectarianism, and it is a splinter group that breaks the law, that breaks even the carriers of the people, which is again on page 15 of Martin Short Inside the Brotherhood. That is the basis of the Parliament's inquiry to come forward to safeguard the rights of the people. There has been hue and cry in the United Kingdom, due to which the inquiry took place. Stephen Knight wrote that was The Brotherhood, and Inside the Brotherhood is a sequel of it by Martin Short. It follows from it. And Stephen Knight has said right in the beginning, in the prologue, which is the introduction to the book, saying that Freemasonry is alarming miscarriages of justice and they intrude into areas they never should. And then he goes on to define that Freemasonry is an underground movement devoted to murder and terrorism for financial gain. And on the same page, he says that it's an establishment-based mafia. And he also has written, Stephen Knight has documented and declared that Freemasonry is all about status quo, that Freemasons only benefit as long as the status quo is maintained. So then he has gone into showing to the people of the United Kingdom, and it's been exposed, and of course it's accepted by the Parliament. It's the Parliament's inquiry that has accepted both the books. So he has written quite clearly that the Freemason judges sell the justice out of court. The decision is taken of a case long before the cases come to court. and they are underhanded dealings, and they are pernicious, exert a pernicious influence after that. That is in the chapter of the system in the Brotherhood by Stephen Knight. And so these pernicious is actually defined in the International Rogers Thesaurus, edited by Barbara Ann Kipfler, which says quite clearly that it is unlawful killing with organized crime to get rid of the victim, and which is a death deal. And 356 insider trading, which is entrapment of the victim, is a death trap, which is by subterfuge, and subterfuge is a white lie, which is falsehood, which is swearing black is white and white is black, and that Freemasons only do a witch hunt, which is being exposed again in the police chapters, including in the concluding chapter of the police in Stephen Knight's The Brotherhood, where it in the police chapter of the Great Debate, it says quite openly that the Freemason police organizes murders and robberies well in advance via other Mason Lodge members, and those who are hired, then they get acquitted of any charges because it's official cover-up, and all their crimes are condoned. And Jack the Ripper case is in the Great Debate, where the senior police, the commissioner of police himself, did the official cover-up. So Freemasonry is official cover-up, it is subterfuge, it is sophistry, and it is not only swearing black is white, but proving that white is black, and then doing a false charge on the victim, one way or the other, entrapment, to finish off and ruin the victim. And that's the way it is. So it's been a long and hard fight for me. That is the crux of the matter. But also, Freemasonry is on page 187 of the Inside the Brotherhood by Martin Short, accepted by the Parliament of the United Kingdom. It says quite clearly that Freemasonry is an unlawful organization with an unlawful oath. And what is the oath is in Stephen Knight's The Brotherhood on page 119, which says that to help any Masons to the detriment, harm of non-Masons. And Freemasonry is a hierarchy, which is on page 187 as well of Martin Short Inside the Brotherhood, that it is white supremacy. And in the Rogers Thesaurus, in the entry of 481, misjudgment, it says that it is white supremacy, and that it is unjust judge, corrupt judge in 914 in the Rogers Thesaurus, that it is illegal, it is criminal, it is sinful, it is deform the victim's character, it is to anesthetize and rape the victim. And I have been told by Manchester University students with whom I had campaigned for 10 long years on my children's case, and who had nominated me to become their MP, but the racist white police had openly said that we will not let her become the MP because she's a non-white woman. If she had been a white woman, we would have let her become the MP. So the obstruction has been done, just as it says on page 15 of the Parliament's inquiry Inside the Brotherhood by Martin Short, that Freemasons break people's careers, and then they try to ruin the careers again and again, which is again in Stephen Knight's The Dissidents, and that they are a group of unprincipled Masons. That's what it says. And it also says that Freemasonry is a morally polluted organization. And 617 in the International Rogers Thesaurus, it says that it's an unholy alliance. And the splinter group in 609 in the International Rogers Thesaurus says quite clearly that Freemasonry is political corruption, it is a fraudulent vote, and it is confessing a fraudulent vote. And in 371, it says it is a graveyard vote. It actually spells it out, and preferential vote, because what is nepotism, which is to stop people with merit to come forward, and especially non-whites. You see, Freemasons swear on oath to destroy the non-whites, and which is because it's a hierarchy, and to do anything to harm them, which is a horrendous thing, but it's starkly true because it's all there and it's all by the book. I am quoting you every single thing from the book, which I did to the Manchester University students, and they gave me enormous love. and affection. And they even told me to my face that even if you were to open a religion, that the students will follow you, and we want you to become the MP. And uh, all the love was given to me all the time, and I was made homeless for 10 years, and I used to sit on the gates on my trolley, my evidence trolley. And the evidence is, of course, the police, I was told, have tried to take away, the trolley was taken away of the evidences over and over again, and so on and so forth. That is again in Stephen Knight's The Brotherhood, where Mr. Charles, the commissioner, Metropolitan Police Commissioner, who in Jack the Ripper case, where 5 prostitutes were murdered, had done the official cover up of them, tried, also destroyed all the evidences, etc. You see, and that's the way it is. And it is countermand, it is counter order, it's counter action, and it is exclusion of evidence, preclusion of evidence, and it is reversing the image of the victim. It is, of from truth to untruth, which is swearing black is white and black and white is black. So that's the way it is, and it is distortion of truth, it is embezzlement, it is gang rape, because I was told to my face by Manchester University students, you've been anesthetized and gang raped, and you've been anesthetized and given injections to hasten death. But I have been doing my public campaign, even I do send it to my friends. I quote the books, and I also put the photograph of the books along with it. But you see, Freemasonry has been charged in the Leveson inquiry. It is all mirroring the state of affairs of the country, where the phone hacking, they have been charged for. The police, the senior police has been charged with the media, with the network of corrupt officials, constantly in a witch hunt. It's none of my making, it's there. And I have had the underhanded threat now, today, that because the way the case is unmasking itself by the book from the International, or the Thesaurus Rogers one as well. They are 2 different ones. And then, of course, from Martin Short, Inside the Brotherhood, and Stephen Knight, The Brotherhood, which are unmasking every single bit of it. And that how everything is decided well in advance. It is... that is how they do the miscarriage of justice, because they know that they're going to reverse the truth into untruth, and then hypnotize is the word that has been used in the thesaurus, to hypnotize the victims, the women, to gang rape. And then because my husband is an adulterous husband whose affairs were brought into the open in front of me by his own consultant in Wythenshawe Hospital, that was Wadi Nasser, and it's a shame. The whole thing is horrendous. And I haven't had my sons for the last 25 years, and my husband has them illegally through the legal system. And my public petition to the House of Commons, the prayer is to declare a valid divorce, to make sure that the 3 life insurance policies on 3 deaths are cancelled. Everyone has a right to live. To safely restore both my children back to me. The 3 things: to have a valid divorce court order, to cancel the 3 life insurance policies on 3 deaths, and to safely restore both my children back to me. And of course, a smear campaign of opposition to the law that has been done in this case is well known, which the Freemasons do, and they converse the negative vote, and it is the black power, and it's all there, and that it is snatched the scripture and seize the crown, dethronement and de-establishment. It is the contempt of the law, and it is perversion, and it's not very nice at all. But you see that British law is the open justice principle. Justice should be seen to be done, whether it's done or not. Its test is public scrutiny. And even in Stephen Knight's book, the advice is given to any victims of Freemasonry to fight out the injustices and to bring everything to the forefront, to make sure that it's in the public eye, and so on and so forth. And of course, bribes are secretly passed under the table is again in Stephen Knight, The Brotherhood, on page 205. So there is a lot more to it than meets the eye. And of course, about myself, I was not only an elected student leader in the Department of Laws with 1,000 boys and 100 girls. I was also the best actress of my university. I have a distinction in dramatics. All my photographs are with the students of Manchester University, students who have known me over 10 years, 80,000 students of both universities, Manchester University and Metropolitan Universities, have known me. I was very well known for my work, and which was passed around and everything. And I was also a beauty queen at the first All India Inter-University Youth Festival. And my distinction in dramatics, there's a photograph of the Minister of Education, Mr. Rajnala, giving me the award for it. And there are my excellent references of my university professors, my head of Department of Laws, as well as of my philosophy teachers. And they've all been displayed, and the bogus court orders and the chain of bogus court orders, bogus court welfare reports, when they were made, why they were made, what was the reason behind them, which was all written to 100 MPs before Right Honourable Margaret Beckett accepted the public petition to the House of Commons with open eyes to do justice, but it was never done. Actions speak louder than words. It's high time that the justice should be done, and everyone has a right to live. I'm a British citizen. I'm a lawful citizen. I don't go out. I have been obeying. I have been at home. I have gone very rarely into the city center only to transfer the money, or if there has been. You see, after the 24th of March, when they announced you should stay at home, I went on the 15th of May after 50 days to the city center. And after that, I went on the 4th of July. And then, so I haven't been again for about a month now. I'm at home. And I have not, I have been abiding by the law. And I'm very well, and I cook my food. I watch the Indian movies and the international news and the national news and everything, so on and so forth. And I do my research on the books, and I do send my articles along with quoting the books and along with the scans of it, you see, because the advice is to fight out the injustices, but there are many threats and challenges, but the latest threat is that preview your flight. What a shame. My father was murdered in India, where the counteraction was done right in front of me, which is a long story. And there is no rules, no regulations, and nothing at all. And I have not been to India for 17 years, 16, 17 years now. My father died in 2003, and in 2004 early I came back, after which I campaigned from 2004 March till 2014 with Manchester University students, and so on and so forth. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye, and I want both my sons back. One is a medical doctor now, but he has been sent for a long time to India. Works at Royal Liverpool Infirmary, but he is doing global health. I want him back because even though he's a convener on global infection, but in global health on, in medicine and infection, on brain infection, that's what he's the convener about. But the thing is that he needs to be back in the mainstream in the United Kingdom. He has been to many different countries for the last few years now, as well as India is in trouble because the China and Pakistan are always planning a war over it, and it's no good. And so he belongs here. He should come back. And my other son is a mathematics honors and business masters and is somewhere in the United Kingdom. And I have not had a single glimpse of these boys for the last 3 years, whom I saw only for 2-3 minutes on a Sikh procession. That was 3 years ago in 2017 May, when there is a Sikh procession every year of Vaisakhi, which is a Sikh festival, and it goes round with all the Sikh gurdwaras, and it goes to the town hall as well, so on and so forth. So everyone has the right to live, and after all, democracy, rights and justice, democracy of the people, for the people, and by the people. And the judges owe their allegiance to law and to public interest and public good, and not to crime and not to partyism. They are not supposed to have become change their allegiance from law to crime, and then amalgate and combine MPs also who obstruct in the House of Commons any justice to take place, which is unmasked in Stephen Knight's book and very clearly. And I was told by one of the Manchester University students to my face as well, who happens to be the relative of somebody who has been very high in British politics. Of course, he's English, but thousands of Manchester University students who are British and white, who come from very good families and from good schools, they have given me enormous love, everlasting love, and I'm sure that many of them will confirm that they love me to the utmost. And but the police did the anti-propaganda and everything. Despite of everything, they nominated me to become their MP, and it was obstructed. So I want my children back. I want the divorce court order to take place, a genuine, valid court order. My husband is remarried to the other woman. He has another child from the other marriage who is over 20 years. And of course, I want both my sons safely restored back to me, and I want a reunion with both my sons. I'm a mother, human as everybody else is. So there were 10 judges, 11 judges that have been enlisted, who have whose names have been in the public campaign, and all their bogus court orders have been with Manchester University students. This case will live forever. It will never die down. They have always kept the things with them, and how my father was murdered, which were the hospitals who did the counter action of the law, and how outrageous everything was. It's everything is in the hands of the people of the United Kingdom. It is and the police is well known who did the anti-propaganda openly at Owens Park at Manchester University, and so on and so forth. So it is a horror story of its times that so much racism and hatred should take place to demean somebody, to reverse the order, to reverse a case. They will try their utmost, and to patronize and to put you down and to degrade you. They'll go to the worst extent, and people should live and let live. There should be democracy, rights, and justice, and merit should be taken into consideration. I'm sure you all agree. And of course, I would love to know who are the MPs who are into the immoral and criminal world, who want to stand in front of the people of the United Kingdom along with the police and make their confession that they are Freemasons, that they're proud to be Freemasons. If people will read the thesaurus as well as how it is actually. It is the immoral and criminal world and a carrier of crime, and it is the underworld, which is all there. It's none of my making, and it has been there for a long time, but it's about time for a change. Throughout the world, they are saying that racism should not happen, and white lodges are supreme. Asian and black lodges are only subservient. They're only yes men, and Freemasonry is all about subordination, yes manship. So what a shame that is. That's not right at all. Anyways, I will. Put my hands in your good hand, put my case in your good hands. But of course, before I go away, I have to tell you that in the United Kingdom, I worked with 4 BBC producers as well, and I also worked with the Central London Law Society. I did many interviews and reports for them that were published in the Ethnic Minorities Groups magazine, where I interviewed even the Chief Justice, Supreme Court of India, High Commissioner of India in London as well, and so on and so forth. But my career has been broken, and I was told in the English Parliament by an Australian parliamentarian that even if there would have been a journalist, any journalist who would interview a Chief Justice, Supreme Court of India, Justice Emdy that I interviewed. No one can do anything high. That's the highest thing for a journalist to do. So I had the compliment, and yet I've been demeaned and degraded to the utmost. I hope you people will render justice to this case. You will reunite my children. You will declare a valid divorce, and you will ensure that the 3 life insurance policies on 3 deaths are cancelled, and that people should live and let live. And that's the that is everything, that's the start of it, that's the middle of it, and that's the end of it, and that's everything. Anyways, God bless you all. God bless you all. Thank you. Bye.